Hello and welcome to Inside and Out with Patricia Stark. I am Patricia Stark, joined as always by my co-pilot Lynn Cimetti. Hello, Lynn.
Good morning, Patricia.
So today's topic, as we always mention that this is about things that are inside and out when it comes to our communication skills, how we speak to ourselves, and how we put our foot forward out there in the world and speak and communicate with others. And today we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the outside, but also how it makes us feel on the inside. Today's topic is how fashion can help us with our confidence and how we communicate to the world. Now, let me just start with a disclaimer. I am no fashionista, okay? Here's a perfect example. I'm coming out of my house this morning to come here to the radio show, and I'm deciding what should I wear with my new apparently hot spring blazer that has like a floral print on it. Now, I know this simply because I coached a fashion expert a couple of weeks ago, and she said, the hottest blazer for spring is something with flowers on it. So I found myself one, and I'm trying to match shoes to it this morning. And I put on my flats because I'm thinking, I can move around, but I'm only 5'4", so I'm a better wedge girl and a heel girl, because I do feel more confident and dressed up, just like the difference between, if you're in a suit or if you're in casual clothes.
Absolutely.
So as I'm leaving, my husband, who's a man, of course, says to me, I heard on the news or somewhere that the kitten heel is in this spring. And I'm like, really? Oh, that's that little tiny heel that I really don't go too far with because usually it doesn't make me any taller. But I know I got one in my closet somewhere.
That's very fun.
So I go and I get them on, and I'm like, okay, they look good. But the one thing that I have to tell you is that you can't run fast in a kitten heel. This is why I like wedges. I'm in the city. I'm walking over grates. I'm hustling here in there and everything else. And yeah, I like to be tall, but I don't want my heels getting stuck in grates and getting stuck in places in the sidewalk and you name it. So I'm much better and sure-footed, no pun intended, wearing those types of shoes. So today, God bless you. So today, that's Steve, our guy that was on the radio show right before us and helps us with our show. God bless you, Steve. I'm running, and I'm having trouble, and I'm running late for the show, and then we have these stairs that lead up to the studio here that are all metal with all holes in them. So I'm like on my tippy toes trying not to let that kitten heel get in there, and I'm thinking, wow, the price of fashion.
I actually thought you were thinking, wow, I'm going to kill my husband.
Yeah.
Who happens to dress very well. And men have to worry about that, too.
That's right.
That's important for them to dress well.
And I don't want this...
for the same reasons.
You're right. And Lynn, thank you so much for bringing that up, because I don't want this to seem like such a girly show, because it's really not. The way that we present ourselves to the world affects both men and women. And when we do coach people for interview skills or for public speaking events, they are both men and women. And and you've heard me say this a million times, that I'll tell everybody, look, you are your own walking billboard.
Yes.
The way that you put yourself out there, the way that you dress this vehicle that we call our body while it's our time on earth here, our shell that we're walking around in, the way that we dress it, the way that we present it to the world, really does a couple of things. It tells people how we feel about ourselves. It tells people how we expect to be treated or how we think we should be treated. But it also, and Lynn, I'm not sure, this might have been something you brought up a long time ago when we first started working together, and it was some advice from your mom. It also reflects how we respect those that are among us. So it's not just about how we feel about ourselves. It's not just about how we want to be perceived by other, but it's a respect level of how we dress and present ourselves to the people that are around us.
Yes, and if you're going and I believe it was something, if you're going to a meeting, or I think it was about teachers as well, how you want the teacher, and that I think that was what she used to say to me as well, you want to show up so that the teacher feels as though you feel it's an important place to be as well, and that she's not the only, or he's not the only person that takes this seriously.
Right,
in some regard.
Yeah, and as far as being someone who might be in a leadership role, or being in the front of the room giving a presentation, or being in charge of a group or a manager, or really just if you're even a salesperson in a store, people, you should always dress a little bit above the other people that might be coming to the event or coming into the store, because it shows that you're more of an authority figure. You're more in charge. You're more the person that is the go-to person. Right. Here's another example. Recently, I was asked to be on a panel for a woman entrepreneurs group, and we were trying to, the phone is ringing, I'm just hoping that somebody will get that, because that may be our guest. That's going to be our guest, Maria. I'm not sure. Let's see if somebody gets that, but I'll introduce who she's going to be in a moment. But so I'm on this panel of apparent different experts, whether we were communications experts or journalists or whoever it may be, and we were going to be giving advice to women entrepreneurs who were hoping to pitch products, get angel investors, get the word out about their products and services. And part of selling that and getting that message out there was their communication skills and how they were perceived when they were presenting their products and services. And there was one gentleman who apparently was a reporter that reports on business things like this. He was the nicest guy in the world, and he gave pretty good advice, but I was flabbergasted that he came in jeans and this white T-shirt that had stains on it hanging out. I mean, he looked like he just got off his couch eating Doritos. And I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I don't want to judge anybody, and everybody should be comfortable and feel the way that they want to. And he wasn't going to be on television, granted, but he was people were in the audience paying to be at this event to get advice from people. And I'm thinking to myself, I still can't get over it. And of course, I couldn't ask him. But till this day, I'm thinking, what was his thought process when he left his house, knowing that he was coming to this event to be in front of a room on a panel giving advice to people that were really excited about putting their best foot forward?
It seems to me, and it's hard to say this, but I'm going to give it to him that some people just don't know. They just don't know. And whether it's they weren't taught, or they're not comfortable, or they don't even know how to dress, or there's different things that you say you're sometimes dumbfounded, but the truth is some people just don't know what's appropriate.
Hi, excuse me, folks. I'm actually on the cell phone with our upcoming guest. Maria, did you just try to call? Okay, the person answering the phone was not there. Could you just call back again and we'll make sure that we get you on? All right. Thanks, Maria. Okay, folks. So to our listeners, sorry that was a little weird. Our caller did try to call, but we weren't able to get to her call. So she just called back. She's going to be calling in. So this is a good time to let you know who our guest is today. Her name is Maria Viccaro, and she is a fashion executive, a business consultant, an entrepreneur, and style director and mentor. And Maria has a really amazing background. She was handpicked by the godfather of fashion, Oscar de la Renta himself, to be his chief architect. She worked very closely with him. She's worked with Donna Karan, Emmanuel Ongaro, a million people, and she's going to be here today to talk to us about how can we make fashion work for us, even if we're not a fashionista, even if we're a guy going on an interview, even if we don't have a big budget. So, Maria, are you there?
Good morning, Patricia. How are you?
Good morning, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
So some of the things that we were talking about before we got to you, Maria, was that one thing that I always tell all of my clients is that they're their own walking billboard. When they get up in front of the room to have a public speaking event or walk into an interview or really have any interaction in business or personal life, the way that they're dressing is sending a message about how they want to be perceived by the world and how they feel about themselves. Do you agree with that?
I do agree 1,000%. And since we're discussing fashion in conjunction with confidence and the message that we are communicating to the world, I believe it's important to note that for me, beauty without intelligence is like a flower without its scent. I mean,
That's great.
Speaks a universal language, the essence of everyone, every woman, smart, beautiful, and powerful, because every woman out there deserves to look, feel, and be smart, beautiful, and powerful. And we can discuss further in our discussion some of the important and fundamental ways to get there.
I love that. That's really such a great description. I mean, everybody likes to look at a flower, but if that scent's missing, otherwise you might as well just be staring at a print on the wall.
Exactly.
Great. Well, listen, now some people just are not fashionistas, and as much as maybe they would like to be, maybe they can't afford to be, or maybe it's just not a priority. It's just they're interested in other things. Maybe they're creative in other sense, or they're a business person in another way, or they're a person who works at home as a mom, holding down the fort and helping her kids with their homework, whatever it may be. So what advice would you give for those of us who are fashion challenged and maybe on a tight budget? What are some good tips to make us feel a little bit more sure-footed when we step out into the world?
First and foremost, it's incredibly important to make an investment in yourself, what I refer to as again, smart, beautiful, and powerful investment. And that investment is what I call Empower Style Essentials. They're key items that are modern with a fashion-forward design and a luxury aesthetic, but certainly at accessible price points. And that will certainly empower women on how to dress appropriately with presence and femininity. It will educate women to define their own fabulous fashion style that expresses who they are and create a unique look that is completely aligned with their own personal style and the confidence to communicate a positive, smart, beautiful, and powerful impression regardless of the occasion or the situation or role that they be playing.
And I'm assuming that this works the same way for men. You know, we do want to address both men and women as our listeners are of both. But so how can we accomplish that? I mean, what do you recommend? Who do you go to help you with that?
Well, certainly you can go to stylists at any one of your favorite department stores or specialty stores, but I think you need to go in there with some level of education, i.e. meaning that what I call when you're selecting these essentials, there are 7 key ingredients that you must look for. Number 1, the key item, and this is for men and women, must be versatile. Versatility is the most important quality of an essential piece of clothing or an accessory. One key factor in versatility is color. Wardrobe essentials must go with many other looks within your wardrobe, and it also must work with different outfits. For example, a black blazer that you can pair with a skirt, a pair of trousers, a dress, or even a pair of jeans.
Yes.
Number 2 is exceptional quality. Wardrobe essential makes a statement. Anyone looking should be able to recognize at a distance that this particular item is of top quality, because high quality means that it'll wear well, a very important attribute that you will be able to rely on this item again and again, and that's where the investment comes in.
And I want to interject here for a second because I've experienced this firsthand when I have bought cheaper items or things that I thought that I needed and they were affordable, and then I end up either not feeling comfortable in them or they don't last long, and you end up buying them multiple times, where if you would have just invested and saved up for something that cost more but was made really solid, you'd probably get your money's worth out of it 10 times.
Beautifully said and brilliantly said. That's exactly the point. That is exactly the point. And in addition to that, your number 3 is it's classic. It's timeless. You don't want your wardrobe essentials to ever go out of style. And number 4, it must be a 10. You know, these garments, like everything else in your closet, should have all of the qualities of a 10 factor. Essential items were going to form the basis of your wardrobe. So it's okay, to your point before, to spend a little more on these items than you would on others, because, again, this is going to give you longevity, flexibility, versatility, and we'll get into others as well. Okay. Number 5 is black. Black garments offer so many pluses. No one knows how often you've worn them. Stains are difficult, if not impossible, to see.
Yes.
Black is flattering on every person and every body type. And with a black essential, you are free to add color to your look and have fun with prints or fabulous accessories. Okay. Number 6 is relaxed yet confident, chic and empowered. You know, the word comfort, to me, it's somewhat overrated. I think it's more important to have this sense of empowerment and feeling important, and you're feeling and looking good. And that's what's key. And lastly, and most importantly, is that it needs to translate your brand essence. As we're talking about how we communicate to the world, you decide what your essence is, and the brand's essence, whichever brand you choose, should match your own personal brand essence. Okay. And the foundation of your brand, in most cases, will start with masculinity or femininity with a touch of style. And then you have themes within your foundation, depending on your mood or occasion. And these themes can range from luxury, sporty, classic. And then each of the essentials must answer the all-important question, what's my reason to buy?
Yes.
Does each item attract the fashion-conscious consumer? Does it offer fashion-forward modern styling? Does it embody superb tailoring? Are the silhouettes defined and shaped to complement a body? Offer a modern sensibility with high-quality, strong price, value, and longevity? Is it price accessible and not price resistant?
Right.
Does it have a consistent, true modern fit? Is it polished, modern, versatile, flexible? Is it timeless and ageless and appeal to your senses? Does it address, most importantly, your fashion needs 24/7 for day and evening, as well as dress up, dress down? And celebrating, an individual's beauty, an individual's sensuality, and combine a chic, sophisticated styling that is casual yet refined elegance, and the intrinsic values just are characteristically simple yet stunning. And I think those are very important tips that before you go into the store, you ask the stylist, this associate, those questions, and you make sure that those things are apparent in your selection of the key items, essentials that you'll be purchasing.
Okay, so let's simplify this as much as possible for our listeners. So I'm going to go into a store, and I am going to be either a man or a woman, and I'm going to say, okay, who is your personal shopper, or who is your personal advisor here, and what things do I want to be armed with? I want to maybe have some tear sheets from some magazines. I want to maybe have some pictures of things that I've worn that I've loved. I want to go in there and I want to say, I need some basic pieces that can be better quality, a little bit more than I might normally spend, but that are going to be classic and that I'm going to have for quite some time. Just really maybe rattle off a list of my 5 key items that I want to shop for, both as a man and as a woman.
Okay. And I just have to have just one exception here. The number one item for me is the little black dress. Mm-hmm. So,
still classic, and we've been hearing about that for years, so that's always still a good go-to item.
It is key. The little black dress, a black blazer, a crisp white button-down shirt, a knee-length skirt or a fabulous male trouser, a white and black bolero-style cardigan sweater set, or just a fabulous cardigan for the man. So if he doesn't want to wear his black blazer sport jacket, he can wear a fabulous cardigan sweater. Black leggings for women, I think, are key, whether they're knit, nylon, spandex, leather, faux leather. In addition, you have to have the classic pantsuit and also a classic skirt suit for the women that is belted, which will give you some kind of shape of waist accentuation.
Good.
Quality blue jeans. So for me, yes, there are anywhere from 6 to 8. You can certainly take the top 4 and be comfortable, but those are the key items that once you have those pieces, you can mix and match day into evening, 24/7.
Okay, so we've got our arsenal of our more expensive pieces that are going to be really well made, that we're going to save up for, that are going to last us hopefully as long as we stay in that size and don't gain weight or lose weight or what have you. So what I want to talk about next is something that you and I touched on the other day when we met, which is going to a tailor and making your clothes fit you correctly, that even less expensive clothing is going to get a huge boost from doing that. Speak to us about that a little bit.
It's without a doubt. It is so important that your clothes fit your body, complement your body, and yes, regardless of price point, that is key because you can purchase a $200 dress or $2,000 dress, but if it doesn't fit properly, they're both worthless. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it is critical to invest and to establish a very good relationship with a skilled tailor.
Okay, excellent. Now, let's get into a little bit about age-appropriate dressing. I love those magazines. You know, we're sitting in the doctor's office and you're flipping through and they're like, here are the looks you should do in your 20s. Here's the page for the 30s. Here's the page for the 40s, 50s, 60s, and on up. We work with the gamut in our company, helping people present themselves again for job interviews, public speaking. We just had a gentleman recently who was in his 50s, who had lost his job, was out there, never, so unexpected, and now he's looking for a job, and it was like a real nerve-wracking situation. And the one thing that he said is, I don't necessarily need to look young, but I want to look current. So how do we dress age appropriate and not try to look younger than we are, or if we're getting out of college, not try to look older than we are? Like, what are your tips on age appropriate dressing for both men and women?
You know, Tricia, I'm not fond of that phrase, age-appropriate dressing, because I believe that phrase creates a situation that forces people to make the wrong choices.
Good.
Either way.
All right, so tell us why.
Well, because I believe it paralyzes people, because now they're concerned, how are people perceiving me? What do other people perceive as age-appropriate? So I believe it goes back to having a sense of style that fits you and fits, you're comfortable within your own skin, your essence. And along with that confidence of feeling good about who you are and what you're communicating to the world, that age-appropriate factor will no longer be an issue.
But then you have to make good choices and have good style, because, we've all seen it a million times. You see a teenage girl out there and her mother shows up and she looks like she's wearing the kids' clothes and she looks silly.
Well, she's not doing her homework. Nothing is simple. This is another thing that I feel very, very strongly about, is if something doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. This doesn't just happen. You have to work at it. Mm-hmm. You have to educate yourself. You have to read magazines. You have to speak to people who are experts in the field, as we do in any trade of what we do. So aren't you important? Aren't we all important to make that investment, not only in money and time, but getting expertise from people out there who can really help us address. It's very important that you realize that you don't have to know all the answers, but it's really important to ask the right questions in anything.
Right.
And it certainly applies to this in fashion.
Okay, so then give me some other questions that we can ask when we do go out there and say, look, I need some help. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just want to get a couple of tips that is going to make me feel more confident, make me feel like I'm being who I am and not trying to be someone else, not just trying to be, doing the latest fashions or trying to impress people with brand name labels and high-end labels. How do we cut through all of that and ask the right questions that are going to make us comfortable and also help the professionals to help us?
I think, again, you have to come armed with, I need to build my wardrobe. And these are the essential items that I'm looking for to build upon to create a foundation for me to be able to mix and match and feel good. The other thing you have to remember are those questions. Are the clothes, are the items things that have the versatility factor, and, do they offer me the options that I need? So I think, again, it's very important to go to your store, to work with a stylist, but be armed with the items that you're looking for, and ask yourself, does each of these items provide a reason to buy with the items that we've mentioned, the issues that we've mentioned previously about it offering, fashion forward, modern styling, superb tailoring, and so forth.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit more about just being casual, feeling confident in the way that once you put the stuff on, I think, to me, when I've been in something that fits well, that feels good, once I put it on, it's like I forget about it. I'm not adjusting. I'm not feeling awkward. I'm not feeling like I'm trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not readjusting throughout the day. I feel like you put on this thing that just feels right, and now you're not even thinking and worrying about what you look like because you did it right and you forget about it, and now you can go on and get to the more important stuff of life.
Exactly. It's important to keep in mind you're fabulous. You need to embrace and love who you are. And that is about defining a style that expresses who you are. And I think that's the issue, is when certainly there's aspiration, but you have to tailor, no pun intended, that aspiration to fit who you are and what message you want to communicate out there. Confidence is a very sexy and very desirable thing, and feeling good in your own skin just allows you to be fearless, courageous, and uninhibited to take on any challenge. And when you look good, you feel good. Beauty comes from within.
Yeah. It's so true that you say that phrase, because a friend of mine used to work for the American Cancer Society, and they have a whole campaign called the Look Good, Feel Better program. And it's all about, after these women that have gone through real tough challenges battling cancer, how when they get them back up on their feet again and they help them with maybe a wig until their hair grows back, or makeup or wardrobe accessories, whatever whatever it may be, they've shown that when these women look like they're more put together and back on track, that it actually psychologically really does help in the healing process and help them feel empowered and strong again.
No question. When people look their best, they're going to feel their best. And feeling fabulous inside is the best makeup outside.
I agree. I do. I mean, really, when you think about that, when people say they love accessories, I always say, people should refer to confidence as an accessory. We should refer to when we feel like we're healthy and in good shape. To me, that's one of the best accessories, because then pretty much whatever you put on yourself is going to look better anyway.
Completely. Absolutely. And again, it's an entire package. It's about not only the clothing, it's also about your internal. How do you feel about yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? It's also, is your hair washed and clean and chic and styled properly? Does your skin glow? Is your makeup fresh, daytime, natural? Is are your hands well manicured? Do you have a nice fragrance? Is your body language, it starts with perfect posture. So is your outfit that you're wearing, is it clean? Is it pressed? Is it lint-free? I mean, people don't think about that, but you have to pay attention to every detail.
Yeah.
If you want to look and feel confident and walk through life in a sense that's empowered, it's not only the clothes, it's also the internal, and in addition to the internal, it's the attention to detail. You can't have a $3,000 suit on and it be wrinkled. Your tie is wrinkled or your shirt is soiled. That will destroy any investment you've made in anything, in what you've done to try to create a foundation wardrobe.
Yeah, attention to detail is tremendous in so many things. But I got to ask you, Maria, please tell me that there's a day and time where you're just schlubbing around your apartment or house in sweatpants with your hair a mess and maybe don't look that great.
Sure, absolutely. But I still am powerful because I feel good inside.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter. And it's amazing that when people see a smile and a positive energy around you, it is as if whatever you're wearing doesn't even matter at the end of the day. It does come from within. It really does.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Maria, it's Lynn. Hi. I have to ask you a question because I know there's some people out there that have heard most of what you said and they're jotting it down, and these are the pieces I need, and I need to go to the store and they're going to help me. What I'm wondering, for those people who don't really know what their style is, I would perhaps suggest that they pick somebody, a friend of theirs perhaps, or somebody, a colleague that they think dresses well, that they feel have a sense of style, and ask them to, hey, can you come shopping with me? I'm not really sure what looks right or what looks good on me. Could you help me through this process? Do you think that's something that people should feel comfortable about doing?
Of course, depending certainly on the relationship and how does that person look? Is it somebody you want to emulate, or not that you want to copy what their sense of style is, but you like how they've addressed their sense of style and how you can then create your own style. But that's a trust relationship, and you have to want to admire what that person looks like in their own skin. Again,
That's
not
good.
to necessarily copy.
How about one thing that I'm curious about right now? How do you walk the balance, though, of not turning off other people? Like, I'm sure that there must be people out there that feel like, here comes the bandbox again. Oh, that person's always done up soup to nuts, and can't they just relax? And why can't they just hang out? And I'm sure that there are going to be naysayers that say, here comes that person again. They just are done up to the nines all the time, and it annoys me. Did I stump you, Maria?
You know what's funny, because I think every person goes through that phase, but then you start to realize that you can't worry about that, because it really truly is what you feel about yourself and how you feel comfortable in your own skin, and you can't let that cloud your judgment, how others are going to look at you. It's
Yes.
just not necessary.
That's a very good point. So have your own personal standards and be true to those, and not worry about it too much after that then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, great. Well, Maria, I could talk to you for another hour, and I'm sure that Lynn has other questions, but unfortunately we are out of time. But this was so wonderful. It represented everything that we talk about here on Inside and Out. You addressed things outwardly and inwardly and how they all work together. We can't thank you enough.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that wraps it up for this edition of Inside and Out. We hope you'll join us again for another interview. And we don't know who's coming up next week, but we'll let you know on the web, and we'll see you then. Have a great day. Actually, make it a great day, everyone.